right next door to the McDonald's, Capitol and Fond du Lac. What is that?
Oh,
Oh, it
yeah,
just
yeah.
opened up behind
Oh,
the
okay.
Burger King over there.
Free wash.
Yeah.
First wash, free.
Okay.
The first wash is free. After that is $99.99.
99. Well, I have with Misters, I had that monthly unlimited
Yeah,
wash.
I got the scrub a dub. I can go
Yeah.
unlimited.
That black card. The white card's not so bad, but the black one, keep that one Clint.
There you go, Clint.
Keep it Clint. Never
I
know.
understand.
Never know. So anyway, we've gotten through. Man, I cannot believe we're past Labor Day.
Believe it. We were just talking about that.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like it snuck
You're
up.
not supposed to wear white after Labor Day and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I got to put the spectators up.
Got to ask you this though, Keith. So like, and I kind of mentioned it with Michelle, but she kind of skimmed over it. She didn't pay me any attention as usual. How does that fare for like Women's Day at church when you're not supposed to wear? So do they do the off white, or what do they traditionally do? As I know, white is purity and all of the above in church, so they always have.
That was interesting because that came up in terms of, is there a designated Sunday for Women's Day in our convention?
Well, I know Kojic has it.
Right. But I don't know.
Even
but
in
then they
local
wear
churches,
white. They wear white. There's a night that they wear white at convocation, right?
Right. But I mean even
I
your
think
local
that's
churches
ceremonial.
have it.
I think that's ceremonial. I think when you're putting on the white, that's different than fashion, even though it is fashion. But, I think that is one of those things that you do. It's like we do white robes on first Sunday because that's Communion Sunday, right? And that's even in the wintertime. So now part of it is real practical. You wear light colors when it's hot and sunny. And then, as you get the fall, and then you make your transitions. But I have a pair of spectators my wife hates. She just think they're Bama shoes. Everybody compliments me on those spectators, but I respect the rules.
Everybody but your wife.
Everybody but my wife. But I respect the rules. I will be putting those bad boys up.
So you don't wear white after Labor Day?
I do not wear the spectators after Labor Day, and unless it's a special something, no, I don't usually wear. I never wear all white anyway. I'm always amazed when you had the white parties and how that even started. But I thought the white parties was P. Diddy that started down in Miami, and that was in the summertime. Right. So I think you have a lot of celebrities who were going down to Miami during the summer. It's off season, so you're not dealing with.
I think how we even got on the subject was Michelle spoke that she had received an invitation to the White House. Did you get yours by any chance?
No, I did not.
But she said at the bottom of the invitation it said suggested attire is white.
They didn't invite me. I could care less.
Hey,
why y'all wearing white? Let me hate.
I didn't bring that up. I didn't bring that up to try to. I was just wondering, maybe you had gotten yours and just hadn't gotten.
No, the last invitation I got was for the brunch that they were going to have at the vice president's residency. That was before she came head of the ticket, and they canceled it because of the heat. There was a heat advisory. It looks like it was going to be outdoor brunch. But I guess I could see that where people are still wearing white in September, especially in DC, because it's still hot. So, but I think it's traditional. When Georgia brought in, it had everything to do with summer wear and how, you should wear lighter colors, especially in hot environments. Now, I think you can get away with white in subtropical environments like Miami, because, Miami, it can be tropical.
I mean, but the rule of thumb has to be rule of thumb across the board. It can't be by state.
Yeah, it can. Sure.
It shouldn't be.
It's local. I mean, it really depends on your local traditions. Like, are they wearing white in Alaska in the wintertime? I mean, it depends on where you are. Environment controls a lot of how we wear what we wear. What I was noticing, though, was it seems that people in shorts, and I was just fascinated watching the number of people who are still wearing shorts.
I got on shorts today.
You got on shorts today?
What are you insinuating?
Nothing. I just thought it was real interesting that you saw people in shorts and.
Yeah, but it is going to warm up. We still got a hot flash coming.
Hopefully, we have a couple of more.
Yeah.
The other thing about it being past Labor Day is The best time of the year. I will not have any serious conversations about the NBA, right? Maybe going towards Christmas because then, you got the Christmas Day, opening day. But I'm not talking about the NBA in any real earnest until maybe November, December, because it's football season.
Right.
And man, I mean, this is the best time of the year for me. I love football season.
I know Michelle doesn't watch NFL.
She doesn't watch the NFL.
Yeah.
Well,
Excited to see what the Packers are going to bring us this year.
Yeah. I'm. It's going to be very interesting to see what the Packers do this year. They play Friday night in Brazil.
I think this year really determines where we stand with Jordy Love.
Oh, well, they'd already paid him. We standing with him.
Doesn't matter.
Commitments made.
What we paid, I think we need to see something.
He didn't have a bad season last year.
I'm not saying he did,
Okay.
but he needs a breakout season this year.
Okay. Now, for those of you who have DirecTV or AT&T Uverse, you all know that we no longer have ESPN. And it was crazy because I was watching Coco Golf and watched her her tennis match. And as soon as it was over, they went black.
Wow.
And I saw the little crawlers out there saying that, contact DirecTV, let them know you're about to lose it. What we benefit from, if you're an ABC fan, is that the ABC station here is owned, that's Sinclair, no, Hearst. So they're not owned by Disney.
Channel 12?
Channel 12. They're not owned by Disney, so we'll still be able to get them. We'll be able to get the Packer game because it's on Peacock.
Is this a contractual bickering going back and forth?
Yeah, they're trying to get more money. And what's happening is with the cable, because cable just rips people off, man. There's just no question how they're sticking you up. But now people go and get these different bundles, and they're getting away from cable. They're saying people are disconnecting. And so you can get a bundle where you can get the stations that you want at a certain, it'll be a lot cheaper.
Well, a lot of streaming going on now.
With smart TVs. Yeah. So, but not having ESPN, and
Keith, I remember a time I had a box in every room.
Yeah.
My room, the living room, because you got TVs just about everywhere. The rec room had to have its own box. So you're paying for the box, you're paying for the service. And I now have Roku.
Okay.
And I pay for YouTube TV, which is about $60 a month, and I can pick what what you
want.
I love it.
Well, I think that's the whole thing about the digital age that we're in now, that we're able to make these selections. It comes down to the cable package, but a lot of it is, I don't know how many channels I have, and it seems like I've seen everything that's been on cable.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I kind of feel.
And you're not gonna watch all those channels anyway. The ones you like. Those are you pretty much gonna watch the same. Any new movies?
No, other than I did watch, I don't know if it's some movies, but a series on Peacock, which is called Mr. Throwback, which is Steph Curry and the sister from Yvonne Ejijo from Saturday Night Live, and it is actually very funny. It is funny.
Check it out.
So that, and of course, I said I saw the Supremes. I've been watching the is it the Emperor of Ocean Drive, which is
I haven't seen
Forrest Whitaker, and actually that's pretty.
I actually saw that, but I didn't click on it.
Yeah, I started watching it, and actually it's actually pretty good. I did, and again, just for those folks, even if you don't have Peacock, you will be able to watch the Packer game because the way the local contract works, that whoever that station, so it could be on Channel 4 because it's Peacock, and they'll simulcast it. They have to resolve that ESPN piece because Monday night Aaron Rodgers is playing. Yeah, so that game will be on, and want to be able to see that. It was interesting when you talk about streaming. We were flying back from Miami, and I don't know if it was the Bucks, could have been because it was in May, and I wanted to watch that, and I was able to stream it on my tablet. Um, God, was it the Bucks? I'm trying to think who it was. Yeah, it could have been the Bucks
While
because
in the air?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You can pay for that additional Wi-Fi capacity on the plane,
Mhm.
and then you'll be able to stream it. So that's ruined. Most kids don't even watch TV now. Everything is streaming. I mean, I'm still addicted to television. I was addicted to television when I was a child. It's interesting when you talk about all the cable boxes. That means that there's a TV. Many of us grew up when it was just one TV.
That's why I have so many.
Yeah, just one TV.
In my man cave alone, I have 6 flats.
Is that right?
I do. Pool table,
Okay.
dartboard.
Okay.
It's just my man cave.
Okay.
That's because, hey, like you said, one TV, the round knob with the pair of vice grips, the fine tuning, big round knob. You know what I'm talking about.
And we only had 4 stations. Notice I said 4.
Now, when we went to grandma's house, she had 2.
Oh, did she?
One in her bedroom and one in the living
Well,
room.
she did. It's because she's living high.
Yeah, she's high on
I think
the
my
hog.
grandmother had 2, but man, we went a long time. We went a long time before we even got a color TV.
Well, I didn't tell you they was color. I just
Oh
told you it was 2
man, I would
TVs.
just and then the people at the color TVs, they always throwing it in your face that they got a color TV.
All right.
But like I said, we didn't know that wire pliers were used to cut wire. We just thought it was used as a channel changer. But you're right now. There's a TV that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 TVs, and there's only 2 of us.
Mhm.
It's interesting you talk about the man cave because Keon just wanted to get to my man cave. Oh man, that's all he talked about. For my man cave. Dude, first of all, I don't even, if I saw you on my block, I'm calling the police. So you getting in my house that ain't even gonna happen.
Right.
I was sitting in the man cave yesterday. I'm going, oh man, Keon, I never got a chance to see the man cave. Oh, but I do have a man cave. Thank you, God for the man cave.
What do you have in your man cave? I mean,
I don't have a pool table.
You don't?
I do have. There's a bar.
Mhm.
I got my stereo equipment set up. Books, albums. Nice TV. I really got a nice TV.
What you got?
This Sony, but it's really nice. Like 55 inches. It's nice.
55. That's all.
Yeah, in the basement. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of TV.
Okay.
What do you got? 80? You got one of those bigums?
I don't want to brag.
You don't want. I don't want to brag, but it's pretty nice size.
It's a nice TV.
Nice
It's a nice
TV. And I just see the picture quality in the basement.
Yeah.
So I'm down there. Usually, after sciatica, I didn't spend as much time down there on that couch because that contributed to my back ailments.
So your sciatic nerve.
Oh man, it was pretty bad. And so I'm down there.
So you're saying the couch attributed to it?
Yeah, where I was laying on the couch. Couch didn't offer much support, and so
Did you often here I go again, Carvey. He not over there, is he?
Mm-mm.
No, people said when I started questioning, it sounded like I got you on the couch.
Okay.
So did you often find yourself asleep down there?
Oh, yeah.
You nap down there?
Yeah,
Just
man, I
quiet-
sleep
quiet
down
time.
there. Had a nice little sleeping bag. The problem with the basement though is that it gets cold, and the way
as in many homes, I mean, it's always
yeah,
cooler
but
in
and the way
basement.
that the ducts are up.
Mhm.
So cold air descends, warm air rises.
Right.
Now, a friend of mine, when he built his house out in where's he in Grafton, in his man cave and in his basement, he has heated floors,
Mm.
which makes perfect sense because then that heat's coming. So I have a heater down there, and I can. It's
So you don't have like vents in the man cave that keeps it warm.
no, the vents are up, so that warm air, even though it's pushing down, it's just gonna go up. So
Right.
you go from the basement being the coldest part of the house to
Which is
the
great in
second
the summer
floor.
though.
Yeah, I mean it's perfect in the summer. As a matter of fact, when we lost power a couple of years ago, it was really comfortable sleeping down there.
Mhm.
The other thing is it was dark. That's the how we're so programmed, in terms of light. There was a woman who was my mom's mentor, Florence Middlebrook. People at Metropolitan remember Sister Middlebrook. Sister Middlebrook was blind,
Mhm.
and so when her husband would leave town, or I would go and stay with her. And so I came in one day, and it was dark in the house. I mean, I'm bumping into stuff, and I said, Sister Middlebrook, how come you sitting here in the dark? He said, Keith, I'm blind.
Wow. Wow. Wow, Keith. Did you do that?
I
Really?
told people I am not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Then it hit me. Oh yeah.
How come you sitting here in the dark?
How come you sit here in the dark? You know, they're going like, she's blind. Or one time we used to have a hot lunch program. We take kids on field trips. So we had different older folks who would come volunteer, go on the trip. And so she went on a trip with us. I think we were at Whitnall Park. I kind of remember this. And so she said, I need to use the bathroom. And so she said, where's the bathroom? And there was silence because people were pointing.
Okay.
And she had to remind us, I'm blind.
Wow.
You can't point. You have to tell me. You know, so it just.
Well, it should have dawned on someone that they would have to take her. It's not like she knows.
Oh,
her
once,
way
yeah,
anyway.
somebody went that way with her, but you know, it was like, okay.
Doesn't sound like I want to be
Let me
traveling with you guys.
let me help you out. Have you ever been in an elevator? And this is an ADA requirement. I hope Michelle's listening. This is an ADA requirement. How do you know where what would be, let's say, the ground floor or the main floor or the lobby floor on the elevator? How would you know that
If you were blind,
if you were blind?
it's more than likely in Braille on
It's
the
in
button.
Braille, but there's also a designation. I don't know if it's like a star that when you look, and let's say you're going to be at the lobby level.
How do you look though if you can't see?
If you're blind, you feel.
Right.
Right.
So you're saying there's something. No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No. So what I'm saying is that if you ever want to know where the lobby is, and you're in an elevator, or you know that main level that they're operating from, you'll see it's almost designated. You can see it. Notice it the next time you get in the elevator. If it's the first floor, sometimes it's ground floor, but you'll see that that's how it's designated. As a matter of fact, there's an elevator that an organization I work with that I cannot believe is ADA compliant because I don't see any Braille on there. I didn't feel any Braille on there. So
But there are elevators. I went to City Hall Friday.
Mhm.
Different. You push the button and it tells you to go to car C or whatever. So
Mhm.
it's kind of digital. It can speaks to you.
Mhm.
So it'll tell you.
That's probably for the hearing the blind.
Mhm.
Also, there's certain intersections you go to when you hit the walk button
Mhm.
and you hear this pinging. That's for the blind. And then I think they calibrate the number of steps based on where you are in the pinging. That's how because that's how blind people kind of they memorize the steps to a particular thing. This is X number of steps. I know it's X number of steps for me to get to. And so it's really fascinating when you look at how and you have, and the interesting thing about Miss Middlebrook, she would go to the different camps for the blind. And I don't think it still is. The Badger School for the Blind was right there on Hawley Road.
With a hook right there. Yeah.
That hook.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they've gone in and did some type of development there in terms of living spaces. So but yeah, people learn how to deal with, as they say now, differently abled, and how you're able to, negotiate things.
Or they're like Hawley Road and State or something like that.
Yeah, right before you get to State. Yeah, between, would that be Wells, Wisconsin?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, because I know the kids used to do day camp at Hawley School. So anyway, but by the way, you had mentioned off air that rub was outstanding. We did spare ribs.
Big Tony's rub.
That Big Tony, man. That Big Tony.
That's Big Tony.
That Big Tony. But Tony.
He's listening. He's in his dump truck right now.
Man,
he's
that
listening,
rub was perfect, man.
Now I didn't want to tell you this, but I actually, because in talking with Tony, he tells me, man, I put that rub on everything. I said, yeah, right. So before I grilled, I actually took some of the rub and had me some catfish fillets, and I put it in my batter and fried it up. Turned out excellent.
Yeah, it's a very good rub. Now Rhonda makes rub, and she bought me a sock pot.
The mop.
Yeah, but she gave me the pot too. It's cast iron.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually put, let's say you're doing your marinade, you want to keep it warm, you can put it on the grill.
Mm-hmm.
And I did sop. I did one thing though that I didn't think about.
Sound like you're doing some bougie grilling over there, man. A sop pot.
Yeah. Everybody know what the sop is though, right?
What?
That's that stringy thing that looks like a mop
Okay,
that you
but
use to
so
put.
what's the special? There's a special pot for that?
Cast iron.
Sop pot.
Yep.
Yeah, you're being real bougie.
No, I'm a beneficiary of my wife working for Williams Sonoma.
Mm.
So you can get all those little neat things like we do beer can chicken. I don't know if you've ever done beer can chicken.
Absolutely.
And there's a stand you can get. We got from Williams Sonoma. I mean, that I'm telling you, man, we should go get all kind of great stuff if you're a
just
cook.
prop him up there the best I can. Hope try to get the can and the leg to line up.
If you put them on, you can put a nice little stand, put whatever you want in there. Beer can chicken is basically, it started off where people take a can of beer, cut open the top, pour off half of it, and then put the bird on it.
Mm-hmm.
You really is great with capon. And you can put whatever you want. So if you want to do wine, I have a tendency to cook with wine. So if you're doing wine, it goes in, and what it does is it tenderizes the meat.
Mm-hmm.
And also, depending on what you put in there, it gives the meat flavor. So but yeah, beer can chicken and been able to. But what I should have did, some of the drippings, but I was able to handle the drippings. I used some of the drippings to create the barbecue sauce. So
this guy. So you make your own sauce too?
Make my own. Well, I cheat on the sauce. I can make my own sauce, but I really cheat on the sauce. I try to highlight. There are two local folks that I use their hot sauce, and now I'm going to start using Pat's. Because Delisa decided now to come out of what is that? The market.
What market?
The marketplace down on Water Street.
Metromart? Water Street.
Yeah.
Oh, Public Market.
Public Market. And she was there, but now she's concentrating on doing the barbecue sauce. And if you've ever had her barbecue sauce, it was recipes from her grandmother, Renita Lee.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, just
where can you get it?
I don't know yet where you can get it. And again, she named the place Pat's Ribs after her mom, Pat. And just so you know, Pat was Oprah's little sister.
Right. She had the place out in Waukesha.
She had the place now. That's her Oprah's niece, Lisa, who was out in Waukesha. And then she moved to Public Market, and now she's decided. So, but great barbecue sauce. So I use that. I also use Saz's.
So you
and also
her
uses
sauce.
No, I haven't used her sauce yet. I use Saz's, or I use Speed Queen, because you can buy Speed Queen where you get it, and you can use Speed Queen.
So you don't start from scratch.
I can, but too lazy.
How would you start from scratch?
Oh, there's recipes. People will tell you tomato sauce, different spices. Some people use ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, and creative.
Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire sauce. So. All right.
Well, I want to take our first break, you think?
Yeah. You're listening to Community Voice. We're up on the first break of the program. Phone lines open 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
what an awesome closing out of the cultural series over at at Clinton Rose.
Anthony McGahee.
Man, they tore the park up, man.
Yeah.
Tore that park up. Just a great ministry that took forth on Saturday. Came forth. It was awesome.
Yeah.
About 30 people up there in that choir.
Yeah.
And
they have on the baseball.
Yeah.
The white and blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AM, PM.
Yeah.
What does that stand for?
Anthony McGahee and Praise something, I think.
Praise in Motion or something like that.
Yeah.
Praise Motivated.
Praise Motivated. Yeah. Okay. Also, Ascension at the All Saints at the Ascension Family Health Center this Saturday. They're having their Wellness Wonderland. That's Saturday, September the 7th from 12 to 4. This will be at 2400 West Villard Avenue. They have everything: a dunk tank, food, raffle, carnival games, yoga, free school supplies, art therapy, mental health. And so there's a whole group of people there going to make this happen on Saturday. It's interesting they're doing Festival Foods as one of the sponsors. They're closing.
Yeah, I heard last week when they were here, one of the doctors, he said that he volunteered to be in the dunk tank. So, yeah.
Well, I know when they do national, they do national night.
But the chain isn't closing. They're just closing some doors here, is it? Or,
I guess I thought they were based here.
I'm not certain of that.
Festival Foods. Yeah,
I've seen them in outlying counties. You don't see a whole lot of them in the Milwaukee area.
I think Greenfield is the closest one. Festival Food. So anyway, again, tomorrow evening at Ziegler Park. Their Love, Peace, and Soul will be the closing act for the season. It's been a great summer season. I just love
those guys, man. Those guys are awesome.
What guys?
The Love, Peace, and Soul. Those guys.
Your band and they don't take a warm up, man. They come out smoking.
You gotta go get it.
They come out smoking. Let's see, Festival Foods, and I just can't. Festival. I got to do something next week. Let's see, Festival Foods closing. Let me do this. All right, phone lines open 414-444. Tomorrow I'm going to do another one of my people's polls tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be doing polling. I don't know how many of you actually get solicitations to participate in a poll, but we'll be able to do that. Yeah, it says here, Festival Foods to close its Greenfield location, lay off 91 employees. So
that's within that door, huh?
Yeah. So the Greenfield store is closing. I don't know.
Oh, they have one in, I think it's Racine, right off of Highway 20. I think I've seen one down in that area.
They made a pretty big splash when they first came on the scene, and I know Rhonda used to like going out there.
I've never gone into a Festival Foods.
Yeah. Oh, I did lasagna last night.
Oh, you did?
First time I ever did lasagna.
Really?
Turned out pretty good. Actually, turned out pretty good.
Any ricotta?
Yes.
Cool.
But there's another one, bechamel, which is supposed to be a better cheese. You just got to find it. But ricotta was perfect.
Bechamel.
Bechamel. Caller, welcome to the program.
Yes, good morning to you all.
Good morning.
You made me hungry, so I started.
That's not fair. We can't eat right now.
I know I could. I said, well, they mentioning all this good food and the barbecuing and all. But in other words, I am a manager of a singing group here in Milwaukee. We're doing some pretty good food for Saturday, too. We're having smothered turkey leg dinners.
Smothered turkey legs.
Yes, we did it before, and we got a heavy request to do it again. So,
what kind of now? When you smother it, what are you smothering those turkey legs in?
Smothering them at?
You said you did smothered turkey legs. What are you smothering
Like
in?
smothered with gravy.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you just use gravy like the poultry gravy, like that white gravy?
No, it'd be the brown gravy. Just
Oh,
smother them in, and I let them slow cook and
okay.
let them slow smother. So they all loved them dinners last year, and they request we do it again this year.
What was the sides?
The sides are gonna be greens, cornbread, mac and cheese, potato salad, slice of sweet potato pie or cake, and your choice of water and soda. All for $20.
For how much?
Yes,
I,
all
she said $20.
I think you said
yes,
$20.
$20.
Where's this taking place?
This is going to be at 4038 North 18th Street. That's in the rear. Now, we normally will have it at Bethesda Baptist Church, right on that corner of 20th and Locust.
Mhm.
They got a lot of construction going on there, and it's kind of hard to get
Yeah.
up in there.
On 20th.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so now we're going to have it on 4038 North 18th Street, and it's in the rear back there.
Okay.
All the setup will be real nice. If you want to eat there, that's fine, and if not, you can take your food. Generally, I've been taking tickets, but my tickets are almost out.
Now, what's
So
the name of your group?
the name of my group is the Anointed Gospel Singers of Milwaukee.
All right. Y'all been together how long?
Oh, for 10 years.
10 years. Okay.
Yeah, we were originally the Infinity Gospel Singers for 14, so add 10 onto that. Yeah.
Okay.
So we've been
So
out there.
you sang in the group? Are you the manager? Or what do you do?
I am the manager and owner of the group, and my name is Mother Deborah Youngblood.
Youngblood.
Yes, and am I talking to Debo?
Yes, ma'am.
You know what, Debo?
Hmm.
Do you remember Ann Johnson?
I don't know.
Okay,
Ann
because
Johnson.
it was back a few years ago when Patrick brought you to her basement,
Oh,
and
yeah, I do recall.
we were gonna have him as being a keyboard player for us,
Right.
and we were trying to recruit you in for singing.
Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that.
Yes,
I'm glad you fixed
yes.
that up because Keith had got tickled there for a minute.
Yeah, that was when you responded. Should I know her?
I said one day I'm gonna just be quiet and say this
It
is one of those
depends.
singers.
Let me let.
Yes, indeed.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna quit inquiring.
When you asked the question, you was like, should I know her?
Should I know her? Oh yes, I was one of
You know
those.
Ann Johnson?
I was one of those.
And Lil Darren?
there.
And Lil Darren, right?
Right. One of those ladies that I met with that evening passed away, didn't she?
That was her, the head manager. And
Right. I remember.
She
Yeah.
did pass away, and
Mhm.
I was the vice president.
Okay, I recall.
Next to her, yes.
So
And
you,
the
That's
lead
straight down.
singer. So
Right.
I said, if you see my face here, I think he'll know who I am.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
So you
'Cause we
from
had it going
Milwaukee?
on down in that basement.
You from Milwaukee?
Yes, I am.
What church did you grow up in?
When I grew up, I was from Milwaukee, born here, but not raised here, but came back to Milwaukee.
Okay.
And the church that I reside in is at Bethesda Missionary Baptist Church.
Okay.
It used to be on 28th and North Avenue.
That's Big Sims,
We
right?
had yes, it is. Big Daddy Sims. They call him the Big Daddy.
I never knew his first name. All I know was it was Big Sims because I think there was another Sims who was also
Yes.
pastor, but he was always Big Sims.
Yes, but the other pastor.
Great pastor. He was a great pastor. I love Pastor Sims.
Wonderful.
I love
Probably
Pastor
Michelle's
Sims.
daddy. Because
Right. He was a Sims.
Yeah.
That's right. But yeah, he was always in the Baptist tradition. Everybody knew Big Sims. That was Bethesda.
Yes, it was. And the other Sims, Donnie Sims, he married my pastor, Big Sims.
Okay.
He married them 2
Right.
years ago.
Okay.
Pastor and Dorothy Sims.
Okay.
Yes, he
All
did.
right.
Yeah, so both of them are greatly going to be remembered.
Yeah. I mean,
Still greatly missed, like it was just yesterday,
Bishop Shane Rose does a thing on Facebook called Pulpit Legacies. And I think Pastor Sims was one of the first ones that he honored. What happens is once these clergy folks make their transition, they will acknowledge them in the work and their ministry.
Yes,
and
sir.
I think that Dr. Sims was one of the first ones. So
Yes, indeed.
yeah.
Yes, indeed. I'm quite sure he was.
Oh yeah, I mean it
I can
is
remember. Yeah,
and I just he was always a presence in the convention.
always.
And just to it's interesting. I don't know if and maybe these times creates a different need in terms of what pastors are and what pastors should be.
Of
But
course.
like I said, he was one of my favorite ones.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Sure enough. We got a pretty good one right now. He's a younger one. His name is Doctor, but his name is Pastor Cleavon Williams,
Okay.
and he is just excellent. But we chose him, and he's been excellent ever since. We don't want to change him for nothing. And we just had our church anniversary back here 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, and it was extraordinary.
I was preaching for a one of my buddies who had just recently been installed in his church.
Okay.
And I pointed out to him, I said, be prepared for this transition.
Yeah.
My pastor. Oh, Lord, my pastor. Oh, my pastor. My pastor. And then when they fall out with you, the pastor.
You ain't never lied.
Him over there.
They sure will change on you.
Oh, well, you go. I thought he was your pastor. Nah, he the pastor. He just
Yes, indeed.
So, pastor, when you hear them, they talk about you, my pastor. And you know what?
Oh, my goodness.
We
Yes.
Baptists, we gonna have a meeting, and in that meeting, he gonna go from my pastor to the pastor. Okay, it's
I
just
hear you on that.
it's just
These people out here, they something else they will change on them.
oh, they're changing the New York minute. I mean, you going up there, you thought I thought they loved me. They did.
Yeah, they did. What about now?
Right now. But you coming here talking about doing some changes, they go, whoa, wait a minute.
I'm trying to tell you.
Oh, Lord, wait a minute. I said, look, people don't want change, they want different, right? They don't come here talking about you changing anything. I was just looking at the program, and I just think we should take this out. What? No. Pastor?
That's it.
Pastor. And then you know they lost our respect for you when they call you by your first name. Well, Keith,
you ain't
Keith,
lied on
Keith, I was just pastor a minute ago when I become
what
Keith. That dude over there. I said it. I was around some folks. I was at my sister's, and I was saying, I majored in political science in college. That was my major.
Good.
It was like my passion. I mean, I look at the world through a political lens, And so I said, but if I wasn't so lazy, I'd really write a book and get my PhD in black church politics.
Ooh, that
There
sounds
ain't
good.
nothing like black church politics. And I'm a Baptist.
And you're a
So,
Baptist,
right.
you and I both.
Right. So now I know it takes a little bit something for people like in the Church of God in Christ or the CME and AME because they have a hierarchy. But in the Baptist church, it's the local church. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy thing. You have to remind people that it's a church meeting.
Ooh, yeah.
So in the Baptist church, if you have an alt against your pastor,
You call a meeting.
and you can't go no higher than that. Whatever that come out of that meeting is it.
The Lord.
That's what it is.
And everybody lied that it was the Lord.
Yeah, they done lied.
Wait a minute. It was the Lord that brought him here. The Lord must have sent him here. I said, be careful what you attribute to the Lord, okay? Because some of that is us. It ain't the Lord, okay?
I call it self.
Yeah, that's
It
us,
is.
right? I heard
Yes,
this
it
guy,
is.
what did he call it? Meology, not theology.
You call it what?
He called it meology, not theology.
Well, I'll be there.
Yeah, because and I think that, and I laugh at it because I understand the issue is this human beings, right?
Okay.
And look, I tell people all the time, I'm not as saved as you want me to be. Okay, and so that will manifest itself in a meeting. Boy, I used to find out who was packed. was packing at a
All up
church,
in that.
at a church meeting. You know what I mean? Like when I used to play basketball, dude said, I'm going to my car. When Deacon say he going to his car, we might want to shut the meeting down because he coming back.
Right? You say that? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, when mother say, I'm going to the car.
I'm going to the car. And
you got my mom said, mother going to the car, go, she packing now. Everybody up in here packing.
Going to the car.
And we talked about the video. I don't know if you ever seen this video. They tried to get rid of the pastor. It was a Baptist church. Trying to get rid of the pastor. They tried, they got all contentious. So this woman got up in the pastor's face and she was wagging his finger and pastor turned out and just stole on it.
Oh my goodness.
She slapped him first.
Right, but he hit her.
He hit her back.
He hit her back.
I didn't hear that.
Oh my God, that was so funny, man. So there's been some church meetings. They had to call the police.
Oh yeah.
And her husband gonna double dip. Like, don't you hit my wife?
Don't you hit my
Your wife hit me. Police is
He didn't do a Will Smith. Don't hit her.
Don't hit her.
And he probably should have been thinking, yeah, get one in for me.
And the way I probably is. Never know what these people thinking these days.
See, there you go talking. Do it, da. Now you got all of us up in here fighting. I had a buddy, and we were just laughing about that. So man, back in the day, used to grab me. Here we go. We're going to fight. Here we go.
Yes,
Good dudes.
yeah. That was bad.
Miss Youngblood called her about a turkey leg. Y'all done went all over.
We done went all. Someone just texted me this, and I'm Methodist, and we have a whole lot of meetings. And the Bible is just filled with meetings. They called a meeting on Moses.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, and change the whole story.
I was preaching for a buddy of mine, and he watched the tape. He said, they ain't gonna have to call no meeting. I said they was gonna call that meeting that nothing to do with me preaching. They was gonna call that meeting anyway. So we put that on me. You had problems with them long before I got there. You know what's interesting? Everybody want a pastor.
They want a pastor until something happened and then come back.
Everybody need a pastor. Oh Lord, until they get one. And then it just be like, whoa. And then let me say this. I was talking to a brother, and I know he really wants to get to this church. And you might hear Michelle say this, quoting me. I said, I want you to be clear. I know you want it. I know you said that you believe that God has ordained this. But when you get it, remember this, words of advice. There are no victims, just volunteers. You came in the door knowing what you know. So don't be surprised that people are tripping, because they was tripping when you came in the door. As a matter of fact, they was tripping. That's how they got rid of the first pastor before
Oh my
they was tripping. Now you come in the door thinking you gonna be different.
What make what make you so different?
Right. Right. And I can understand why brothers and sisters might want to start their own churches.
Yeah, I've been hearing this. I've been hearing.
Lord, ooh, man, you come in and it just be like. But I guess that's why we need the Lord.
Definitely, every day and every minute and hour of our time, we got to have it.
I was telling them the story about I was at work. Anybody know who worked with me and those folks work with me? Listen, no, customer service was my thing. Customer service is my thing. Customer service. Treat everybody with unconditional positive regard. Your best customer service is with your worst customer. I had all the mantras. I did customer service training. So I'm in a staff meeting telling people about, here's what we need to do. Let's treat folks with the dignity and respect, reminded them that we're eating because these folks are not. I went through the whole thing. It was a great message. So then I get a call. Keith, can you come to the reception area? So I come to the reception area, and this woman she's going all in, right? She's going all And so here I come trying to be Mr. Calm on my de-escalation training. I'm trying to, but the more I talk, the hotter she got. And she started going in on me.
Oh.
And I'm thinking, okay, I feel like Granny in the Beverly Hills Village. I've been provoked. So as I'm getting ready,
this is where all your training of others has to show.
look at this stuff. So I'm getting ready to go into her. And I just looked out the corner of my eye. Those receptionists had just sat through that message about customer service and how your best customer service is with your worst customer. So now they said, now he been in here telling us to do all this. Let's see how he handled it. Now, had I not seen them out the corner of my eye looking at me, oh, she was going to get it. Oh, she was going to get it. But I told him in church Sunday, look at the Holy Spirit. Boy, if I had not looked out, but even then, let me say this, even then, when the Holy Spirit is giving you guidance, we don't always listen.
Not always. That mind gonna get sidetracked some type of way.
I think Paul said that, oh, wretched man that I am, like you doing a whole lot to bury the old man, the old woman trying to, but it's still there. And there's some triggers. And before you know it, you're not going to even recognize you, right?
Really,
you know, because you're going to take it to a whole different level. I had a classmate that worked in I'm assuming he may or may not be alive, but he was legendary for literally cussing out his congregation from the pulpit. I'm not talking about strong words. I'm talking like curse words.
I've heard that.
You know,
what you talking about? I've been to church and heard that before.
Oh man, it could happen.
I couldn't sit there no longer.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's but it's interesting because you know, as human beings, and you know, we get on young people for this because young people, if they hear there's gonna be some drama, they showing up, right? They showing up for the drama, or they're gonna show up for it.
Definitely for that.
You know, old people do too. You know, they know that there's certain meetings they're gonna go to, and I remember this young lady, she was with this organization, and she told them, she said, "You know what? I ain't taking it no more. I just ain't taking it no more." She said that when they say something to me, I'm just gonna let them know what peace of my mind. So I asked her, "So how did the meeting go?" And she said, "Not well." I said, "I guess because you gave them a piece of your mind." I said, "So what happened?" She said, "So I told them what I thought, and then they turned around and told me what they thought."
They feel like they had that prerogative.
Right. You know, so don't think that you throw a blow, they ain't gonna throw a blow back. Right. You know, and for some people, they ain't coming to do any business. They coming for the fight.
That's it.
They just sitting there waiting.
They
just get ready. I would send out agendas for our all staff meeting. And one meeting, I decided, you know what? I was so tired of arguing with people about stuff I don't need to argue with them about. So I gave them like 8 or 9 things we're not going to talk about at the meeting. Somebody texted me, said, "Then why we coming?"
Somebody gonna have something to say.
We can't fight the meeting. Why we even coming? You know?
Nah, that's not true. That's really funny.
Oh my God! I'm just telling you, people. Look, we had, and I'm guilty of this too. So let me just be totally transparent.
Yeah.
When all that drama was going on down at the school board, and we going in and we gonna monitor the school board. Some folks, because they do, some drama gonna jump off, right? And so they were sitting there. Now I'm not saying that they're not taxpayers who are really concerned about where their tax dollars are going, and this is what prompted them to show up. But for a whole lot of people, man, they just know one is the opportunity, one to be seen, okay, and two, because you know what, and there's some mess started.
Of course there is.
There's some people. I mean, I don't care. They gonna keep some mess going on. I mean, it ain't.
in the church,
in the
anywhere,
church, on the team,
anywhere
on the
in the
job.
yeah, they ready.
You ain't got nothing else to do, obviously, but to keep stuff going.
Keep it going.
Keep it going,
Mhm.
man.
Mm-hmm.
So give
All
them
right,
that
man.
information if they want those smothered turkey legs.
Oh, you can't be going here. Yes, yeah, the smothered turkey leg dinner.
Smothered turkey leg dinner.
Dinner. All that to you. I'm not good in trying to fix disinformation here because I got the whole flyer here.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah. You know, the turkey leg dinners, like I say, with the cornbread and the potato salad, sliced sweet potato pie, work in your soda or
Thick
water.
pies and sweet potato pies.
Yes, indeed. Homemade. Yes, indeed. I was surprised. I went to a church uh, and always same thing, you know, since the other pastor Jackson passed away from another church.
Okay.
So everybody flocked there, you know, to have their programs. And I was sitting there Sunday, and one of my seniors, you know, got up and was talking about what we're going to have for this Saturday. You should have seen people coming next to me, wants to play sports. I wasn't expecting that, but I did bring some tickets. I'm just about all out of all my tickets, but I'm just saying you all come. You know, anybody come.
All right,
And I was really surprised, you know,
give them the address.
for $20. The address 4038 North 18th Street, and that's in the rear.
Okay.
Just walk right up there, come right on in the rear, and say who you are, because I know who you are anyway. I think I'll be who. Yeah, because it's going to be a lineup on the servings and stuff. And it's best if you let me know what time because I put in a time slot for 11 o'clock. We know we had those dinners ready hot and ready for them to go. And
Okay.
some people like at 12 and at 1 o'clock. But while you're on the air with me, well, I'm on the air with you, brother. If you're going to come, let me know what time you're going to be there.
Okay.
It's from 11 to 4. Mm-hmm. And then I would can kind of look for you and whoever else is in there. But I wanted to elaborate and talk with Michelle this morning, but she was so much on, and I loved every detail she was mentioning about it because it is so true, you know, about these children, you know, in the schools and stuff, and with their parents, they have a responsibility too,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with the children.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I thought about that. I was at the store yesterday, and there was the the cashier was talking to a young lady talking about her kids being in school,
Yeah.
and she said that, well, I hope they behave.
Uh,
And I kept thinking, well, I hope they learn something. You can do both, you know. But I think, and then the other thing that's real trouble, and I went this morning and pulled it up, is the achievement gap between black males, um, K to 12, and even with black females, and then with their white male counterparts. Um, I think there's like a 62% completion rate in terms of high school.
oh,
But what is very concerning to me is how we educate our boys differently than we educate girls.
girls.
And I think especially for black males. And what I mean by that is there's certain things that we will let boys get away with, right? If your son is athletic and your son is very gifted athletically, and there's a possibility that there's a future in athletics, that becomes the whole focus. Make sure he has everything he needs to do to be a successful athlete.
That's it.
I think we have to change that calibration and to say that now in my family, no books, no sports. That was a no-brainer. I mean,
Exactly. That's
you
how I brought
struggling
mine
in
up.
school, you ain't playing. But I think the other thing is just how we need to that same discipline schedule we put young men on to play football or play basketball or conditioning for track and field is the same type of discipline we need to have with these young men when it comes to academics, and in particular reading, right? And part of that is my mom and I were talking, and I said, and we were talking about it last Tuesday. I just have just an incredible love of reading because my mother read with me when I was little. And I think the other piece of it was when I would read to her, I would get this affirmation. If you look at our like our brothers and sisters who immigrate here from the continent, from Nigeria, from Ghana, Mali, they're coming here for education. And I think that Black folks, we have to learn how to value education. We need to value education like we value our religion, because I think it's just as important, right? And so when
I
people,
agree with you on that.
right, so we can't. Well, why aren't they achieving? Well, hell, they can't read, and then they're building prisons based on third grade test scores, right? And they can project who will then go in the criminal justice system because we're not going to deal with the systemic issues that impact education on Black people in general, but in particular Black males. What I could even see this when I was coming along in school. We used to call it Special C here. Uh, where you would have special classes, right? Which is special ed.
Right.
And what it's supposed to be was, I guess these kids had been diagnosed as having learning disabilities or other things. I don't know if that was the case. I think many of them were disruptive in classes because either they couldn't keep up, they were dealing with issues when it relates to all these different learning styles. And so one of the things I found fascinating about Special C, in all the years that I was in public school, and certainly when I got to junior high school, I never saw a girl in Special C.
Ever?
Never saw a girl in Special C. Now, maybe they were there. I don't remember ever seeing girls in Special C, right?
That was probably just in who you read or where?
At Parkman. I didn't see it at Parkman. I was at Parkman for 3 years. I didn't see a
at
girl. Now, they could have been. I never
I had
saw
a
her.
daughter in special. Why I asked.
Say that again.
I had a daughter in special C
Right. Okay.
back, a few years ago.
What, in the 80s or the 90s?
There's no 40 now.
So that would have been the 90s, 80s, 90s, right?
Right.
But by that time, we had gotten to, maybe we need to find out what's going on with the kid, and not just say that they are a disturbance in the class. They're disturbing the class for a
They
reason.
cut you off. What they had at that time, they called it multidisciplinary.
The M teams?
Yes, they call them multiple disciplinary at that time. At first, they didn't call them special C's or special what.
Right.
She just class. She's this and this and that. And they look at what type of parent are we, because when you're at home, you're disciplined. Your schoolwork coming first, and then everything will follow that. But you're gonna do that homework.
I think that a lot of the kids were acting out not because they weren't smart. They just, it was hard for them to learn based on their learning styles.
Yeah,
and so I think we made the adjustment now in terms of, here's the big scientific word for teaching children, pedagogy, where now we're a little bit mindful that you could have a person who could be off the chart in terms of their intellectual and cognitive abilities, but they're dyslexic. So how they read is different than how someone else reads or how they process information. So the real genius is supposed to go in to evaluate, and then how do we put together a plan, based on this student's individual need to learn. We make accommodations for people. We made physical accommodations for people who might be dealing with physical disabilities, but we're talking about a lot of times kids. And then I think the other thing is when you look at Milwaukee Public Schools, and it's about 25% of their student body is special needs, right? So that's a quarter of your student. Now, again, most of that money is coming from the state and the feds in order to deal with it. And then you're talking about this is a big group of people, but we're just talking about the people who are dealing with cognitive issues, people who are, like a lot of these young people are still dealing with the residual effects of lead and how lead impacts one's cognitive ability, one's ability to learn. And so then you put people in school And then again, if um, parents, I think they can understand in their minds, they can understand what it takes for their child to play football, and maybe because of what their educational exposure has been, I could only wonder had I been raised by a school teacher. I was raised by a person who was into learning. And so, but I'm just saying, in terms of the discipline that you need to have, you spend this is an hour that you spend for studying. This is a time that you spend on reading. And for a lot of people, I don't know if you can remember this, but back in the day, they used to say that the television was the babysitter. Many of us, if you were a latchkey kid, you know, that was like you get home, you watch television. Well, I love television. There was only 6 channels. I love television.
We only, well, you all mentioned that earlier. We only had 4 at that time.
Right. And the interesting thing in all of that is that I love to read.
Good.
And so that really augmented a lot of things where if I wasn't as disciplined, I was telling someone last week, I was never accused of being a student, right? I mean, I was probably the worst student you could have. It wasn't a disruption,
In that
but
class.
yeah, I mean, I never disrupted class because I just knew what that meant when I got home.
That's
But
it.
no, I mean, in terms of where I was, and it wasn't until I got into a situation where everybody in the class was smart. And then it was kind of that peer pressure that said, okay, if you need to be smart, here's what you need to do. And so then I learned when you sit down and study, how you study the whole piece. But yeah, I think it is in terms of those kids, just worried about black men because uh, the priorities become something else. And I think that you have to be, um, we just have to raise our voice a little bit different, differently. Sorry about that.
But I have a question for you.
Mhm.
Now, what do you think about yeah, study passing these students? They can't read. Their reading level is very low.
Mhm.
And math levels too, very low. But they study passing them. They're graduating like that. And I
Right.
didn't understand that.
Well, and that's
Now,
the issue. UWM said most of those students that they admit from MPS, many of them have to go into business. They call it remedial education. And what that is that on the college level, you're probably going to get, they're going to be a heavy emphasis on English comp and some basic math because a lot of these kids are not even at the freshman level in terms of college, the ability to be able to learn to read,
yeah,
and you're reading more when you go in because all you have to do is some schools require English literature, for example, as part of your core. Core means these are classes you have to take that's required by the school. Well, when I took English literature, and I graduated from Dominican, I took English literature, and it was like, oh, this is a whole lot of reading. And it was in Old English, something I was not familiar with. Uh, and so I was able to quickly calibrate. I was fortunate, but I knew for some of my classmates from other educational situations, it was a bit more difficult for them.
yeah,
But I think as much as we can expose our kids to, I love what Michelle was saying, take them out where you get a chance to see, and they might be sitting there bored out their minds, so they appear. Um, my godson was playing in a AAU tournament in Las Vegas, so my wife went out as one of the chaperones. And so every time we go on the trip, we always have a geek part of the trip, right? It's always going to be something, some interest. We're going to do something over and beyond the entertainment piece. And so she took him to Hoover Dam. And she said it was about 112. It was hot. It was so when he goes out to Vegas, I think he was just out earlier this summer. The people we went out there with, we wanted them to go to Hoover Dam. So yeah, I think that when you go in, the mistake I made was um, just interest. Now my mother was like this: if there was a field trip, we going.
oh
I
yeah.
mean, we any chance that she got to expose us, any chance to travel, she made sure that my nephews went to the NAACP National Convention. They've gone to, the National Baptist Convention of Christian, the Congress of Christian Education, Sunday school. So that travel, you just going to like National Baptist Convention is in Baltimore right now, and there's so many interesting things you can do in Baltimore now. And just for the young folks, when I was 14, 15, I took interest in things, but when I became an adult, I really became interested. So just in Baltimore, they go and visit the Inner Harbor, but at the Inner Harbor, they had the Frederick Douglass Museum. I think any chance you get to expose kids to something over and beyond what they see. Look, if your kid can do a rap lyric but can't remember how to pronounce their own name or how to say their name or write their name, there's a problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think as much as we can, and that's the difference between other groups because other ethnic groups see the importance of education. I think that we have, I don't know what it is with us in terms of maybe it's the segregation but this whole idea of learning, and we come from learned people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. I think the first cataract surgery was done in Timbuktu. Those were African people.
Really?
Yeah. So when we kind of look at where we come from, and there's a reason by design that when we came here, they stripped us of language, they stripped us of culture, they stripped us of names.
Mm-hmm.
And I would tell people, all you biblical people, when you read about the Babylonian captivity, they did the same thing. The Babylonians did the same thing.
The same.
What is that? Meshach, the three Hebrew boys.
Meshach,
Abednego,
Abednego, Shadrach,
Shadrach.
Meshach, and
Yeah, those
Abednego.
were all Babylonian names. Those were not Hebrew names. They changed
Okay.
their names. And if you go into a little research, which I didn't do for this program, you come and actually see what their Hebrew names were. But that's
Okay.
what happens if they can strip you of culture, if they can strip you of identity, right? And then the whole other thing is then they put a whole bunch of people on boats, irrespective of what their or low ethnicity is. They said they estimate we are descendants of Bantu people. You look at African American people, we're basically Bantu, right? Bantu is just a huge group under the umbrella of Bantu with 620 different languages. That's today.
Oh,
So what you did was you took people who had hostilities towards each other. That happens with ethnic groups. They couldn't talk to each other because they had their own native tongues, right?
right.
And so even your ability to be able to communicate to say, you know what, we might want to do something, you couldn't do it. And I think we still see that today, that even though we will let some of these local differences get in the way, but then I'm not surprised when they say that black people are not a monolith because we all have our lived experience. Now we do become monolith or become a monolith when it comes to the impact of systemic racism. That has impacted all of us, no exception.
I can relate to that.
Okay.
Hmm?
Well, I want to thank you for being my guest this morning.
Well, I knew I was going to end up being a guest, but I'm enjoying
Yeah,
it.
you're very good as a guest, so we're going to have you back as a
Thank
guest.
you. Thank you.
Appreciate
I will
that.
sure make a note of this.
All right.
Yes, indeed. But encourage everyone to really come on out and try our smothered turkey leg dinners. But we also have chili dogs and hot dog combos for the children, and we have the hot out. A lot of people love that too. So,
Oh man, a good hot poly.
well, when you come out and
I'm talking about one of those polies where your nose is running
that's
and
one.
your
One that
eyes
I,
can turn crimson. That's the kind of poly I like. Give me
well,
one of
that's
those
the
hot
one that
polies.
we have. We got a request for them to make to have those too. So
All
we
right.
have it for you.
All
Yeah,
right. Well, appreciate
those are for $5. But
Well, appreciate you. And folks need to understand this is a fundraiser. I ain't charging for that. It's a
yeah,
fundraiser. I was very trying to be
it
It's
is.
a fundraiser.
Yes, yes,
Don't you come in and they say, well, they charged me $25 It only gave me $5 worth of food. Yeah, because it's a
Okay.
fundraiser.
But I'm just a little different from everyone else. I like to get fulfillment in your plate.
Oh
And
man.
that's why I charge only $20. Everybody say, what? Rock out. Come out there and really enjoy themselves. There, or you can take it with you. So the apple and I don't like that little here and that little there. But I want, you know,
But
and
we
we don't
always,
charge you that much.
anybody that listened to these airways know that we had a real complaint with Speed Queen about the size of their coleslaw, and they finally up the size of the coleslaw.
Okay.
It says how good that coleslaw is, right? But that's all you get? Like, oh man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We appreciate you.
Okay, and pass the word out for you. We appreciate you.
All right.
Hopefully that I can see you all Saturday.
All right.
From 11 to 4.
11 to 4.
God bless you. Take care, and I enjoy being on your show.
Thank you for being a part of the program. Here, take a break. We're still talking. Am I still babbling?
I thought you in blood.
Oh man,
holding a meeting.
There's a meeting in the ladies' room. Do 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 do. We're back real soon.
Take a break. You know what? I'd rather you do this. Go ahead, take your break now.
All right, you're listening to Community Voice. I don't know if there's a meeting in the ladies' room. 414-444-5250. 414-444-5250. Quick break. We'll be right back. I was in and out because I was getting ready to come in. So there's a controversy about collard greens and Kamala Harris.
Yep. Did you catch the whole story?
Yeah. Where she washed the greens?
Yeah, because she said she washed them in the tub.
Okay.
Yeah.
And somebody had a problem with that?
Yeah.
What problem did they have?
I don't know. Sanitary. Did she really? Is this propaganda? You know, is she trying to appeal to black folk by making this statement? There's different angles that you can take from it. You know, as Michelle kind of spoke to, responded by way of text, saying that it wasn't uncommon to wash the wash tub, the same wash tub that you bathed in.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
that's where that came from.
And some black people had some problems.
Yeah. Asked to say that she really didn't experience that.
She experienced what? Like washing greens in a tub?
Right.
Okay, but even if she did, and you're gonna cook out most of that stuff anyway, right?
Just telling you what the issue
Now
was.
I don't know how to make greens, but I've watched people make greens and cook greens. You know, I'm sounding country. I'm saying you make greens. Okay. The stuff that we worry about. Now there is a controversy out here that's brewing. You know, they went after Tim Walz for a little bit of embellishment in terms of what his military service record was and the rank that he retired from. He did attain the rank he did not retire. Some master sergeant. He had to go down because there's some classes you have to take in order for you, to do whatever. But there's another issue that's coming up now is whether or not Kamala Harris worked for McDonald's when she was in college. Wait a minute. So let me get this straight. When you think about for all the people that worked at McDonald's, let me say this. Thank you for your service. I do not want to besmirch the folks that have worked at McDonald's. I know for many of us, this is our first job, could have been McDonald's. But I'm trying to say now they said they don't have any pictures. No one is coming with employment records saying that she worked at McDonald's when she was in college. Fascinating. She didn't say how long she worked at McDonald's. She just said I worked at McDonald's when I was in college. I'm trying to think, what McDonald's was there McDonald's on Georgia Avenue? Let's see, my sister. What I got to ask my sister. Is there any McDonald's within walking distance of Howard University? Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
I just got to say one thing. Good morning to you guys, but I got to say one thing. Call nonsense. And I'm going to keep on calling saying nonsense. He didn't get his family doctor to say he had bone spurs, okay?
Okay.
So this is the guy you want to follow behind, okay? And I'm going to keep on bringing up the negative stuff. 34 billing, selected felon, impeached for how many times? 2 times. All the other stuff he's doing, his wife has a girl. Come on, man.
But George, I have a real concern if she said she worked at McDonald's and she did not.
Really?
I don't. I
know you playing. But you know what, Keith? You know what's bad about that, Keith? That some people would. Oh, she lied about that. At the Arlington thing, I mean, do you see how they twist this Arlington thing?
Oh my God.
This dude is just a constant lawbreaker. He breaks the law every time he turns around, and it's just like people okay with that.
What did Charlie Murphy say? Rick James, he's a habitual line stepper. So this dude, I mean, to the point where the families who many believe were kind of strong-armed into agreeing to even let him take the pictures with them, right? You know, and I don't know if I said it on the air, but I've been to Arlington. I'm telling you, it's sacred ground. Have you ever been to Arlington National Cemetery? It is a different vibe. That hallowed ground and the level of respect that you're supposed to show when you're on that hallowed ground is enforced. I mean, it is enforced. So the fact that the dude, go on.
And then they're gonna try and say the lady got mental issues, and I mean it's just the way that the people. I don't know, Chief.
Let me say this. I do. First of all, Donald Trump is lazy. I'll say it again. He's lazy. Donald Trump has had people who've done for him, did for him. And here's the difference between Kamala Harris being at the top of the ticket and Joe Biden being at the top of the ticket. You wouldn't even seen, had Joe Biden remained at the top of the ticket, you think that dude ain't working now. He figured he won. And he was on the way to winning. It really was. If anybody sits up and says that wasn't the case, it was the case. But he doesn't work hard, and so he's lazy. And, you know, if you're extremely talented, maybe you can get by. But even then, even extremely talented people cannot just get by on their skills. And he doesn't have any great skills anyway. And I think next Tuesday, we're going to find out, or it will be apparent how limited he is. And if he keeps talking, how he is an existential threat to America going forward. Now, I agree. I know your frustration where you say you can't see how people support him. I do. I mean, I can see how they support him. I don't agree with it. I don't understand it, but I see it. And here's the other piece. Donald Trump has yet to break 46%. Kamala Harris now is floating around 50%. Some polls have it 52%. Everybody knows that the magic line is 50% and higher. That's where you want to be, right? She's doing, and again, they said she didn't get a bump. I don't know if she really needed a bump because there was so much enthusiasm going into the convention that it just carried on. But the polls have been pretty consistent, and there are states that are in play now that wasn't prior to her being at the top of the ticket, which means that he's going to have to work. And trust me, did he do anything for Labor Day yesterday? Did he visit any union? Did he go any cities in Pennsylvania that, you know, talk? No, he did nothing yesterday.
Did you see what Carmucci said? And I believe.
What does Carmucci say?
Lonnie hates it. I believe.
Oh man,
look. She hates his guts. She don't want him to win. She hates his guts.
Yeah,
and all that stuff. He's talking about people where your husband and your wife ain't been there either. She's been disappeared. She probably appeared 3 times.
Right. I think the last time we saw her was at convention.
After he got shot. And somebody was saying, because I didn't watch it, but they were saying that she looked like she didn't even want to hold stand up there.
No. It's obvious that I don't know. Well, it could be prenuptials. It could be some financial reasons why she just doesn't leave him. But the level of humiliation that this woman is experiencing because of her marriage to him. Now, again, there are no victims, just volunteers. There you go.
Right. Volunteer for it.
There you go. So
I don't see no woman laying up under him, man. When I even picture that, I get sick.
You know, he had a black girlfriend back in the day.
No, I know that.
Yep.
What was wrong with her?
Wow. But he said like that, bro.
So was really wrong with her.
You say, I'm just sitting up here. People ask what's wrong with my wife because she's with me. I'm gonna
say this and get off the air because this dude reminded. Have you seen that TV show? What's the guy that played All in the Family? What's his Ed O'Neill? Have you seen clips yet?
No.
About the Clippers? The guy that owned the Clippers?
Oh, down in Sterling. Yeah.
Watch that, Chief.
Seen it.
Oh, you watch clips.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so when you said he had a black girlfriend, now that's what I pictured of him with her. Something's wrong, something mentally wrong with that shit.
Which gets us to, and I didn't talk about it.
Side pieces, let me just tell y'all right now, side pieces,
All
So I'm gonna get
right.
in trouble for that one.
Yeah, I think you might.
I'll
But
take
you know
it.
what's real interesting though? I was
That's how she, because she didn't see her play. She had it going
I don't
on.
think, first of all, in 2016,
Ferrari, $6 million crib. She could keep her mouth shut.
well,
I'm gone.
you know, what's fascinating, this is the question I didn't get to last week. Bruce Pearl is a Donald Trump supporter, right? He's come
Right.
out in support.
He's a coach or something, right?
Yeah, he's coaching Auburn. People know his connection to Milwaukee is he took UWM to the NCAA tournament. They hadn't been in years, and he was able to do that. He left here, went to Tennessee. Tennessee, he went to Auburn. And so Roland Martin has taken the position that based on his political stance in terms of supporting Donald Trump, he's encouraging black athletes not to go play basketball at Auburn. And the question I had is, how much impact does your coach's political stances and political position have impact on you then as a player going to play for that particular coach?
I would say it's just as much as you might admire your coach. They do have influence over you.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy Tuberville, who is now the senator from Alabama, coached at Auburn. And I just wonder. And look now with the transfer portal, you don't have to stay in a situation. If I was a gifted athlete, though, I don't know if I'd go someplace where I know if this the political position that I take in life, that coach would be very different than that. Especially when you're supporting someone who is a racist.
All right, I'm gonna let you go. I know
All right.
somebody else.
I appreciate you.
Hey man, can you finish off that?
Right. Like Herschel Walker just loved Donald Trump because Donald Trump gave Herschel Walker so much money in USF. And if you ever seen the documentary on the USFL, at the end of it, they show who killed the USFL. It was Donald Trump. They were doing very well playing in the spring. Donald Trump decided, no, we should take the NFL head on and then sue the NFL, and all they got was $1 in terms of damages. So this dude, his record should speak for itself, but lover's eyes are blessed. We only see the best. People that's really down with you don't always see the worst part of you, or they'll ignore the worst part of you. And then a situation like Donald Trump, the emperor doesn't have clothes, and nobody's going to sit up and tell him that he doesn't have. It's like just to sit and just show you just how off kilter this dude is. He stands up and he says that, asks the audience, should I be nice? They're coming for the carnival, dude. These folks are not coming for policy. They're coming for carnival. I mean, that's what they want to see. They want to see the entertainment. A lot of Trump voters are what they call low information voters. Where they get their news sources from. Again, my job requires that I watch as many news outlets as possible, trying to get a sense of what's being said over and beyond the comfort echo chambers that we find ourselves in. I mean, I agree 98% of what they talk about with 98% of what they talk about on MSNBC. CNN, now Newsmax, Fox, not so much. And I think the other thing, and you're going to hear this from Vice President Harris, you're going to hear this from Governor Walz. Even though there has been an uptick in terms of support for the Democratic ticket, they're still underdogs. In people's minds, it still is Donald Trump's race to lose. Now, it's going to be really important, and we'll start talking about that tomorrow when we start doing polling. And here, hopefully, you'll be a part of that. I understand clearly that turnout matters. And it matters in every election, but it's really going to matter in this election. So if you have folks out there, it was like when someone was asking me about where did people go who want a resolution in Gaza and in Israel, and frustrated with the Biden approach to how you handle Israel. A lot of people paying attention, but Great Britain now has said to uh, Israel they're going to be being very conditional about selling them arms and munitions. America's in a tough situation because it's been proven that some of Americans' armaments have been used in the attack in Gaza. So, in some way, there's culpability in terms of American giving him or giving him, I'm saying Netanyahu. And be honest, Netanyahu does not want to see at this point a peaceful resolution of this situation because he's running from his own criminal charges there in Israel. But the folks are out protesting because my understanding is that those 6 hostages were killed as a part of the Israelis raiding the tunnel, and so then they executed them as part of the raid, as a response to the raid. But the people in Israel want to see this thing over. They want their people to come home, okay? And you just can't understand. I don't understand. Mr. Netanyahu's position is that they want to totally degrade Hamas so they would no longer be a threat. What they're not appreciating in the arrogance and the hubris of being Israel is that the hate that you're experiencing is the hate that you created. What do I mean? You have marginalized Palestinian people since 1948. And just like any people in the world, people have an aspiration for full humanship to be able to say we need to be able to live freely. You have in agreements. Again, I mentioned the Golan Heights. The Golan Heights is supposed to be returned to Syria. Israel has yet to return the Golan Heights to Syria. And it becomes even more difficult for them to return it to Syria because now they've allowed settlements there in the Golan Heights. Right? There are settlements going on in the West Bank, parts of the West Bank that Israelis should not be a part of. And what they're not talking about is how you're having these Israeli settlers attacking Palestinian people. So there needs to be a resolution, right? And I understand the incredible Israeli government lobby that you have in this country, where anything, for some people saying, hey, we need to take a look at policy, and people going, you're being anti-Semitic. You want to see Israel. No. I don't know where this became mutually exclusive, that you don't have to resolve the situation with Palestinians um, because people support Israel. And again, I've said this a number of times. There are many people in the world who still do not accept the legitimacy of Israel, right? They didn't accept it in 1948. There was a war in 1948. There was a war in 1967. There was another war in, I think, with the Yom Kippur War in 1973. And so the question that was asked was, if you think it's bad under Joe Biden in terms of what's happening in Israel, you can only imagine what it would be like if Donald Trump was elected. He came up with the Abraham Accords and did not include one Palestinian in those negotiations, right? And the Palestinian people now, they have to halt fighting because of the possibility of a polio outbreak because kids had not been vaccinated. That's the other thing for all you folks out here not vaccinating your kids. Get your kids vaccinated, okay? And we have years, many of us as adults. The fact that there is no polio has everything to do with vaccination, smallpox, all those things we're vaccinated for. Caller, welcome to good morning.
Good morning.
What's happening? Good.
I don't know. Some people are just, if you're going to vote for Donald Trump, he's failed. He's the first person in the world that has bankrupted a casino. How can you do that. They open the door to take in money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy to think that he should be running the whole country, telling his finger on the button. So whenever he say, "Well, I don't want to live no more," I think he's stupid enough to do that.
Well, I think the other part that we have is we lived through 4 years of his administration.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and they're talking about the number of Americans who lost their lives, or some people believe lost their lives unnecessarily because of his response to COVID.
That's because they didn't take the bleach.
Yeah, that dude. Yeah, I mean, so when you see the real time people, I think the one interesting thing, and tell me if you noticed this, there was a pretty pronounced group, uh, particularly black men, who were so open in their support for Donald Trump. I think they're in a different situation now because you have a black woman at the head. I think that now it's hard to make the arguments. People can come in and they'll talk about her record. They're just doing talking points in terms of what her record was. For example, thank God someone clarified what she actually said about fracking. She said that there would be no more fracking on federal land. That's significant. How about federal land? Not to mention the impact that fracking is having on the the topography. That's the ground. That when you go in and frack. So in Oklahoma, they're having regular earthquakes in the area where they didn't have regular earthquakes. Why? Because of fracking. That was the concern about using fracking. And even though fracking is probably a different way of being able to extract oil, but it's also having impact, and especially those people find themselves on fault lines and near fault lines in terms of those, what do they call them, those plates, those tectonic plates that you have rubbed together. So it's having an impact on the environment. Or this lie, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden wants to get rid of all gas cars. Eventually, we're going to have to get rid of gas cars. One, what this doing to the environment, and two, this is not an infinite amount of energy, what he calls black gold or oil. This is the other piece of it, petroleum industry. And what petroleum is and its impact in our society cannot be understated to the point that people beginning to understand that global warming, a lot of what's contributing to that is plastic and the amount of plastic that's in oceans where we dump it, right? Now they're coming up with a more friendly type of plastic that they can use that could be more recyclable, but they didn't want to recycle plastics. Are you kidding? No, we just create new plastic. And so all these things are having impact on the air we breathe, on the temperature, these temperature swings that we had that you had not seen, where you have this extreme weather. Well, a lot of that is caused by human behavior. And one of the biggest pieces of that is pollution.
And we can see that from where you live at. If you live closer to the highway, people are more sick than people that live in the rural area.
Right. And that's an excellent point.
And they know, and if they put the idiot, if he gets back in office, God bless America.
Well, but here's the piece. If people, what did Obama say? Don't vote. You can be upset. My dear friend Anna Hodges, we were talking, and we were over at the balloon release for Keanu, and we were talking, and I was telling someone about why she's one of my sheroes, and I said, but you know what she did? She got dogged when it came to her getting that position that she should have got. She didn't get mad. She got elected. So you can sit up and get all in your feelings and get thrown off your square. Or you can say, you know what? I'm going to take this as my fuel, as my incentive to go on. And not only did Anna Hodges win, Anna Hodges won with a significant majority. So that becomes real important. You can get real mad at people. But sometimes there was this movie back in the 70s called The Farmer. And I guess they came and wiped out his family. And we'll never forget listening to the ads. And they would go, he was the farmer. He didn't get mad. He got even.
That's how you got to do it.
That's how you got to live it, man. All right, man. Appreciate you. You're listening to Community Voice. We're up on the last break of the program. We'll be right back. find out things, and you show up. But you know what, Carvey? I used to be a college recruiter, and so I decided I was going to go to Philadelphia. And I get to Philadelphia, and I'm coming in thinking, because normally when I get there, oh man, especially when you go into the all girls school, oh man, they like looking for you. And like, well, no, Mr. Parris, actually, you're supposed to be here next Wednesday. Oh, I just did this 4-hour drive. Enough. So, anyways, we wind down. What up, Jermaine? What's happening, bro? Man, I'm doing all right. I heard this song. I don't know if it's by SZA, but the lyric I heard, I want you to feel either like I'm feeling or what I'm feeling. And it sounded like it was a breakup and she was angry. So I it caught my attention. All right. So let me thank everybody who's been part of the program this morning. Sister Youngblood, let me thank you particularly. Debo, thank you. Carby, thank you. Jermaine, thank you, sir. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. We hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go from this place in peace.
And little dissensions that our faith each day increase. And Master, oh Lord, hills and mountains, never came. Food and clothing, storm and rain. That he's provided. He always heard it one like we just can't seem to be content. We always heard it one and look upon us to have compassion and please.